and thank you for listening in to CLDF Chatter. To give you a quick overview, CLDF is a national charity which supports families whose child has a childhood liver disease, and as part of the charity we have a young people's service which provides support to 11 to 24-year-olds living with a liver condition. The Young People's Service has an online group called Hive and Hive Plus on Facebook, which enables members to connect online and share experiences. I am the Young People's Digital Engagement Officer at CLDF, Louise. Today we have Katie, who is the Young People's Service intern at CLDF, and we would like to give a warm welcome to Millie. So Millie, do you want to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hello everybody. Yeah, I'm Millie. I'm 21 and I have Alagille Syndrome, and I had a transplant at 9 months old, so 21 years ago now.
Yeah, Millie, I also have Alagille Syndrome, and yeah, I'm 25 and have never had a transplant, so that's so interesting that you had one as a baby and I still haven't had one.
That's so interesting.
There's two different stories here, isn't there?
But with the same condition, yeah.
So Millie, we can explore obviously your journey in terms of being a baby and having a transplant and how that has been for you and what you're up to now today. So that'll be a really nice discussion. And Katie, obviously you haven't had a transplant, have you? So do you want to just tell us a little bit about your journey with Alagille not having a transplant?
Yeah, obviously a bit like Millie, I was quite sick as a baby and don't really remember. I've just been told stories and stuff, but my Alagille, it affects my heart quite a bit. So I had heart surgery when I was 7. I tried to put a stent in, but it didn't work, so I had to take it out. Since then, that was 2005, and since then I've been healthy. Now that they have said like eventually I will need a transplant, and if it would have to be a heart, liver and lung transplant, it would be triple. But apart from that, like just kind of got on with life. I haven't let it stop me in any way. I do basically whatever I want to do in knowing my own capacity and knowing how much energy I have to do things.
Is there any similarities that you two could think of that you might both experience having the same condition?
We're both small and have tiny feet.
I was going to say the height is definitely one, but actually I feel like it's quite interesting because like you said, we both have the same condition, but I feel like it affects us like in quite different ways. You say it mainly affects your heart, whereas like for me, it was the liver. It was the liver transplant that I needed and got. Whereas
but then I think also then it's affected our eyes too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's like we do have similarities, but mine it affects the heart, liver, and lungs because with Alagille, although it's a liver condition, it affects other major organs in the body.
Yeah, you see it as like it's a liver condition, but actually it's so much more than just a liver condition. Like the eyes, it affects in my heart and so many different things as well.
It stems quite far and wide sometimes, doesn't it? But you say each individual case is
different.
Yeah, so different.
Yeah.
But
you can tell quite extremes of it.
It can be very different for everybody, can't it? But like you say, there are similarities, isn't there? Because you do, like you say, you are slightly shorter, aren't you? And we have had in the past with young people with Alagille's question where they can find, like shoes, clothing, all that kind of thing.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Me and Millie have had that conversation many times.
Yeah. Like, where'd you get these shoes?
And what have you come like together to resolve that? Like where do you tend to look? Have you got specific shops that you now kind of know that do certain sizes for you?
I mean, to be fair, Katie told me a good shop for shoes. I feel like what I found is when I was younger it wasn't really an issue, but I feel like as you get older and more of an adult, I want kind of more adulty type clothes, and I think that's what I found quite hard to get, is that kind of clothes I want for my age type, if you know what I mean.
The trainers, I think trainers all like until like a certain size have elastic, or they might not have like Velcro strap, which is quite babyish. So
I don't really want that at the grand age of 21. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you want something for your own style, but it's good that you two have managed to make a friendship where you can share that and share where you found the best things. So, you know, you're learning along the way, aren't you? And being able to access hopefully more stores that, you know, accommodate for what you need. I'm glad everything has been okay since, Millie. So have you just been attending hospital appointments regularly?
Yeah, I think probably about every 3-4 months I go to the hospital, get bloods done, check up, and obviously I take my medication as well.
Have you had to have biopsies at all?
I had to have them like every 5 years in the children's services because I had my transplant in Birmingham and I'm from Edinburgh. I had to go down to Birmingham to have that done, but now I'm in adult services. I've never had a biopsy, so I think they more just do them when they see necessary.
Yeah.
Checkups, I think. I haven't had to have one with adult services yet.
Yeah, not adult services yet. How was it when you had to go from children's to adult services?
I didn't really want to. I feel like a lot of people like can't wait for it. Can't wait to get away from the children. A lot of people are like, oh, I would just want to get away with them. I didn't. I feel like it's maybe because I'd been with them since I was a baby. I've like literally held on to the last. I was clinging on, like, don't let me go.
Oh, I can imagine it is a big change when you're moving from children's to adult services. What age was you, Millie, when you did transition?
I think I was 18. Most people I think are kind of 16. They kind of said to me, oh, because of like my transplant and everything and being ill, I was like held back a year in going into school. So I was a bit old for my year in school. I was 18 when I left school. So I think they said to me, okay, you can stay until like the end of school.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I end up sort of being was so much more convenient. So they just said, right, you can stay until you're 18.
It's a case by case basis, isn't it? And at the end of the day, that's what worked best for you and your care.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first had your adult appointment? Do you remember?
Well, I think they do it very well. And like, I think it was the first kind of transition appointment, like adult services, like came to the sick kids in Edinburgh. So I kind of had my first appointment. I would say like, I was in, you know, like familiar environment. My doctors that I knew well were there as doing appointment, which was quite nice. And then the second time it was at the Royal Infirmary in Edinburgh, but this time the sick kids doctors came to the adult hospital. They don't just sort of go, there you go,
Yeah,
and
they
then
will
speaking to
settle
you
you in.
again. They do really ease you in and they do make it very clear, like, and they are very helpful. And the adult hospital, like, they are just as nice. It just does seem like quite a daunting place.
It can be quite daunting joining adult services because it is a new place.
Yeah.
Is there any top tips that you could share now you are a young adult in adult services?
Being at university, I find this quite helpful. I have like this little thing for my mum.
Oh, a Dosset box.
Yeah, I find this really helpful. At the start of the week, I just sit down, I get it done. Because like university life is busy.
Yeah, university life can get hectic, and a Dosset box really helps for you to remember, obviously, if your meds have been taken that day or not. So it's really good that you obviously utilise that weekly and you sit down and you put your meds in it. That's a really good management tool, Millie. So thank you for sharing. What are you studying at university?
So I'm doing psychology in
Yeah.
third year at the moment.
So psychology can be quite a demanding course, can't it? There's lots of work entailed with it. So the fact that you keep on top of your medication by using a Dosset box is such a helpful tool. And I guess it also helps when you are looking to order your prescriptions.
Yeah, so it just like helps me keep a track of like, oh, I've got one more week of this, so I need to order more. It saves like, oh my God, I've only got 2 days left.
Yeah, I guess the Dosset box is really helpful in terms of giving you something visual to look at to see when you're going to be running out of tablets and when you need to place an order, as some hospitals do require 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, I order my own repeat prescriptions and they come from the chemist, the village beside where I live. They've started giving me a 2 month supply rather than a 1 month supply, so that I'm not constantly having to order them every month. And I'll usually order them 2 weeks before the end of the 2 months. Like Millie, I can't get them in about 2 days, but just to be sure, sometimes they might not have enough in the chemist at the time, so then they'll have to order more in it. And then I've one medication that comes from the hospital, so I'll have to go and get bloods done for them to see the result, and then they post the medication out to me from the hospital pharmacy.
Do you both find that using your calendars in your phone as a useful tool to manage your medication and know when your appointments are coming up? So
Yeah, I use my phone, and I also use like a physical like diary.
Oh, a diary. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like see everything out there, everything I've got to do.
Of course, yeah. And all your uni work, I guess, is in that diary as well.
Because appointments in Edinburgh. So if I have an appointment, I have to go back to Edinburgh, and sometimes I have to miss uni. And so if I can, I like got to try and figure it out, might fit in.
As you're having to travel quite far away in terms of attending your appointment from university, do you have to take a full day out of your diary for your appointment?
Yeah, pretty much, because it's 2 hour traveling there and back.
So as it can take a full day out of your diary, Millie, what would your advice be to others who are having to manage university life or work with having appointments that could potentially take a day out of their routine?
Because my doctor in Edinburgh is very good at like asking when my holidays are, and because I only go to the appointment every 3-4 months, I usually go like Christmas holidays, this year, Easter holidays, summer holidays. So like I feel like if you can request that, it just makes it a lot easier.
That's a really good advice. If you can try and manage your diary to get your appointments to fall within the school breaks, that would be amazing. So, Millie, shall we explore what it's been like taking medication your whole life?
Well, I feel like I've been pretty good. It's something I've always had to do. I just get on with it. As I've kind of come into adulthood, having to order them and manage them more myself. One thing, when I first had to order them, I was something like, how do you spell all these? I have no idea. So I'm having to get all these boxes out trying to look at them. So then what I did is, because every few months I'm always ordering the same thing, I have it all like written out on my phone, the name of it, how to spell it, how much I take, anything like that. And then all I need to do is copy and paste it. For me, it's an email I send off to my GP to repeat prescription. So it's just makes that bit much easier as well. And I think it's quite good. You're just out and about. Sometimes I need to fill out forms and whatever, what have you. So it's just good to have like a note of the medications you take.
I bet it does save a lot of time as well, because you will be just copy and pasting it and then it's all done. I am very pleased with how efficient you have made your ordering of medication.
And it means you can do it for notes. I can do it on my laptop, I can do it on my phone, I can do it wherever.
It's a good point to make, though, isn't it? Like, make your life easier. And once you've made that document, it's going to save you rummaging through packets, finding the names, how much you take, and you literally just send it from wherever you are.
For ages, I had no idea how to spell Alagille Syndrome. I mean, it's more than Alagille. Too many L's, A's, G's, L, whatever. I had that written down again for things like forms, things like that, how to spell it. It's just quite handy to have.
Yeah, of course.
And I guess another thing that comes with having a liver condition is remembering all of the past medical history that you may have to tell someone.
I think especially because I was so young when everything happened, I remember nothing. People will ask me if you've had this, I can tell them.
Yeah, because you, obviously being a baby, wouldn't have remembered your transplant, would you?
No.
And did you find it quite shocking when you found out that as a baby you had a transplant?
It's weird because I don't know what I understood. I don't remember the moment when I said, oh yeah, I had a transplant. I know what happened. I understand it, kind of thing. Because again, I think when I was young, obviously I had this big scar. And like I would ask my parents how I got it, and they would tell me. But I feel like at such a young age, I probably said yes, but did I really understand? I don't know.
I guess it's always been the norm, hasn't it? You've always grown up with a scar, so that's a part of you.
I've always just had that. So I do find it such a weird thing that I don't remember when I realised.
Yeah.
But I just know.
Yeah, are you proud of your transplant and your scar?
Yeah. I feel like, again, it's like a weird thing because I feel attached to it, but also then I feel like I don't because I don't remember. It feels like it never happened. I don't know, that weird like disassociation with it almost. Honestly, I just forget that it's there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, I don't know, I'll be getting changed or whatever, obviously I see it, and I just sort of think about, oh, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's quite a big thing.
I love that positivity, Millie. I could just imagine in the mirror, you're like, yeah, that happened.
It happened. Oh, yeah. Such a weird.
I guess with your transplant, your liver condition throughout your life, it has opened up quite a lot of opportunity for you as well, which you wouldn't have got if, say things worked out slightly different with your health. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about the opportunities that have been thrown at you? Can you give some examples of what you've been able to do?
Well, like you said, I wouldn't have done literally so much. I mean, I've taken part in the British Transplant Games. I want to say I've done 12.
Okay, that's a lot, isn't it?
I started at the age of 6. Then I've done 2 World Transplant Games. So for the World Games, the first one in 2017 was in Malaga, Spain. That was pretty cool. And then in 2019, they were in Newcastle, which wasn't so cool. But in next year, I'm hoping to go, and they're in Australia.
Oh, wow.
So that's quite cool. I'm very excited about that.
How do the Transplant Games work, Millie? Now you've done it, if somebody didn't know about the Transplant Games, how do you sign up? How do you get to go?
So I always explain it as it's basically like the Olympics, but for people who have had transplants, and you, instead of your country, you represent your hospital that you had your transplant. And honestly, anybody who's had a transplant can take part. It's not, you don't have to be really good at anything. Like, it's all about the taking part, showing that organ donation works. Most transplant units have a team manager that, honestly, if you go to your doctor and ask them about it, they will be able to tell you. And for the children, you get sent out letters basically saying, do you want to take part?
And is that the same for the world ones?
The world ones, you have to get selected. The British Transplant Games, they kind of use that as the selection process, if that makes sense.
So if you want to do the world ones in Australia next year, does that mean you'd attend the UK
So
ones?
I attended the UK ones that have been like the summer that's just been.
Yeah.
And then so I got selected based on my performance at them.
That would be an experience, wouldn't it, Australia?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had my acceptance letter, selection letter. So I know I've been selected, and I have showed my initial. The only issue is very expensive to go to Australia.
Well, I've got my fingers and my toes crossed, of course.
Yeah, and it's also that because I mean, this is something. One thing I'm a bit concerned about is taking meds, managing that kind of side of things.
While you're traveling, I guess that is another factor to consider, isn't it?
It's something that I am a little bit about how that's going to go.
Have you ever travelled, Millie, with your condition?
Not for like a really long extended period of time. Like I've been on like family holidays. I think the furthest I went was like a school trip to South Africa, like 2019 in 6th year. And that was, I would say, the longest I went without my parents, far away. I think my mum was quite concerned about all that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm quite laid back about it all. I'm just like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, because travelling can be some of our listeners' desire. So it's great to hear, Millie, that you've been able to travel and that you have got a laid-back approach, because it does take a little bit more preparation. So it's good that you've got that patience.
I think I remember one of the main things that I found difficult was getting the travel insurance.
Yeah.
That was, oh my God, it was so expensive.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not letting travel insurance stop me going on this trip.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably going to be more expensive for me, but I'm not letting that.
Yeah, no, of course. And with any travel insurance question, CLDF can always direct and help where they can look for quote, just because we have a list of companies that you can go through and see if you get a better quote with them. But we understand, it is hard, isn't it, trying to get a reasonable quote for travel insurance. That could be a challenge.
especially when you're going that far.
Katie, have you ever travelled abroad? Your condition?
Well, I got a Make-A-Wish and went to Australia.
Oh,
So
Okay.
that was all paid
amazing.
for. Travel insurance was quite high, and I remember whenever I was going on the French exchange with school and stuff, my mum had to pay like a couple £100 extra because it was going to be that much extra for my travel insurance. I was away for 2 weeks in the summer in France, and it was only £11 or something. It wasn't that expensive.
Really? I went away to Spain earlier in the year, and I was double the price of my brother. I can't exactly, I don't think it was extortionately, but I just remember that I was double.
It can be a frustration in some people's eyes, obviously. Nobody wants to pay over the amounts, do they, on the travel insurance? But at the same time, it's just looking around and hopefully something comes up that's more reasonable. But no, thank you for sharing, because obviously it is a big factor, isn't it? Young people want to travel, some want to travel.
Yeah, that year, it was actually like the year I was left school, so I had a couple holidays, with my friends, but over the summer as well. But that year I ended up getting this like year deal, which actually ended up being quite good considering I was going away quite a few times. So I think if you are looking at going away a few times, a yearly deal actually worked out quite well.
Yeah, it can do. And some people also get it with their banks. Yeah, travelling is exciting, though. And it's something that, like you say, you don't want it to put you off travelling, do you? That's a big opportunity, isn't it? Getting to see the world. So yeah. So have you got a list, have you, Millie, of places you want to travel to?
Yeah, I've got quite a few places I'd like to know.
You know what you need? You need one of those, the scratch maps.
Yeah, I got one of those basically like they send to.
Yeah, you can have it on your uni wall. Just
and like Australia is quite high.
Quite high on the agenda.
Yeah,
so we definitely need you to get on that Transplant Games, then, don't we? Well, Millie, I know you had some other interesting opportunities. Would you like to tell us about them?
Well, last year, quite a big one, I was selected to do the Rickshaw Challenge, the BBC Children in Need Rickshaw Challenge with Matt Baker. So that was quite the experience. I don't think I'll be forgetting that anytime soon.
I was going to say that it's once in a lifetime, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, it really is. But it was just, I was able to raise the awareness of childhood liver disease, organ donation, and I guess Alagille as well, because I think Alagille is quite a niche liver condition as well.
Yeah.
So I was just able to, raise awareness of all of those.
I guess it proved a lot to yourself as well as what you're capable of, because cycling a rickshaw in winter.
Oh my God. Uphill to Edinburgh was not the one. But it was just the best day ever, though.
I was going to say, and along that way, I'd imagine you met some amazing people.
Yeah, I mean, I got to meet the other people that were doing the challenge as well, which was so cool to see, because Children in Need, obviously, you only, I guess, sort of think about your charity. So it was so cool to see other people's charities and how different they are to CLDF, that they all are supported by Children in Need and what work Children in Need can do.
Of course.
And I think it made me really realise and kind of bring back as well that, CLDF wouldn't be able to be CLDF without that funding. A way of, I don't know, just kind of giving back and saying thanks to Children who need CLDF as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing. Katie, have you had any opportunities thrown at you in terms of your diagnosis as well?
CLDF residentials have been more of like I did Closer to the Edge back in 2013, which is now Breakaway, and I came full circle and worked on this year's Breakaway as a staff member. And I also took part in Talk Tell Transform back in 2014 and made the video of what it is like living with a liver disease and how I grew up and what I thought was a normal life. I think that's few main things opportunities that I've had along the way. I don't let my liver condition stop me do the things that I want to do.
Yes. And Millie, you too have done Talk Tell Transform, haven't you?
I've done Talk Tell Transform and Closer to the Edge, which is now Breakaway. I've done both of them as well, yeah.
Were they impactful for you?
Yeah, especially I think Closer to the Edge, in that I mean, both in different ways, but closer to the edge. I think it was the first time we really was, apart from the Transplant Games, maybe, I was really like just surrounded by people who also had a liver condition. I was like, whoa, all these people.
There are other people
never,
out there.
Yeah, exactly. There is others like me, and even if they don't have exactly your condition, there was just so many things I could talk about that I mean, I love my home friends, but they just wouldn't completely understand what it was like to miss a full day of school because I had to have all these tests done. But I could tell them, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, I've had that. Even like, I've had that test. It was just like, yes.
And they understand
like,
that test
and
that procedure.
Yeah, and that test. And I can just talk about different tests and they just all understand it. And it's like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's lovely to hear how it has, you know, impacted your life and the people you've met along the way. So thank you. Right, we'll move on and we'll chat about your university experience. How has uni been?
It's been alright.
It's been okay.
I mean, the first week didn't go off to a great start. I got COVID.
Okay. Is that Freshers Week, as they call it? Was that when you got it?
Yeah. It was the first teaching week I got it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Did that mean, did you have to miss some lectures then, or?
So yeah, I missed lectures. I think for a few days I couldn't even manage to get myself off and into a lecture.
Yeah, you're too cool.
Not happening.
But that's, you know, at the end of the day, COVID is not nice anyway, is it? It can take a big toll on someone, but at the same time, when you're ill, and you've got to rest, haven't you? So was your lecturers okay with you missing that time? Or they understand?
Yeah, it's actually quite good because at the moment they do still seem to be recording the lectures even though they are in person, so I was able to catch up.
Yeah.
I just watching the lectures. It was okay.
It's just
a bit of frustration, like having to miss it and then catch up.
Did you manage to catch up?
Yeah, I've managed to catch up, but now, because it's quite hard to catch up, but then also still keep on top of
the stuff that's
what was still coming out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But you lived independently for your first year of uni, didn't you? So how was that when you were from your previous education to living at uni and studying a degree?
It was first semester, I lived in halls, and then second semester we got told don't come back. That was from COVID. So first semester, honestly, I think it's difficult because of the COVID situation as well. I didn't really want to go out at that point. I was still felt quite cautious.
Yeah.
But I think it's just communication. Tell your flatmates, tell your friends. At uni, everybody is just so much more like, they just go with it. They're just so much more chill. And I think drinking, I feel like it's quite a big thing at uni. Again,
it can be, can't it? It can be quite a peer pressure for some people.
Honestly, I find people really don't care. If you're drinking, great. If you don't, they don't care. Who drinks, who doesn't. As long as if you're there, you're having fun, that's all that they care about it. People really don't.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had a good group around you, so they've been quite understanding with your choice not to drink.
I've made it quite clear why maybe I don't drink, and people are very understanding.
And that's all you can really do, isn't it, Millie? You don't have to feel obliged to tell people, but you've obviously made that choice. And
if you've been able to feel comfortable to do that and they've took that as an understanding and respected that, then you couldn't have probably asked for anything more, really, could you?
Exactly. And honestly, if they don't accept it, maybe not your people.
Well, yeah, very true. That is something to consider, isn't it, when you're making new friends and building those connections with people. So you're in year 3 now, aren't you? Third year?
Third year, yeah.
Yes. And are you back living at uni or, sharing?
Yes, I am currently in a shared flat.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot being independently living at uni?
I think so. Yeah, I probably have actually, learned to just be an adult.
Yeah, of course. And learn to cook new meals and do your washing and don't let it build up and you clean it.
Yeah. Our flat is definitely clean at the moment.
Yes. And I guess there's an element of managing your own bills.
Oh, it's the stressful thing. I just jammed it.
Yeah. Katie, did you live at uni or did you live at home when you studied?
Yeah, so I lived in uni halls for my first year of uni. It was very interesting because you were just put in the flat with random people. I was lucky that it was a good group of people I was put with in terms of the drinking thing again. They were all so understanding and would actually like explain for me to other people why I don't drink. I didn't mind that because they were protecting me in a way. And then my second year, I lived in a house with 3 friends, 2 of which had been through nursery, primary school, secondary school. So yeah, again, they were so supportive because they'd grown up with me and they knew that everything that I had been through. But yeah, navigating bills, and the first year was all right because you paid 3 installments every time you got a student loan, and that covered like your Wi-Fi, your heating, like everything was included in those 3 installments. Whereas whenever you were in a house, you kind of had to like pay your rent monthly, you paid like a Wi-Fi bill monthly, and then your electric, you kind of just, it was like a pay-as-you-go meter. So you had to just put it in whenever it was needed. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I have been home now for 3 years.
Yeah, so university can be a great learning curve for young people. It especially prepares you for adulthood. And I know obviously COVID played a big factor in Millie's journey at university with her second year. How was that, Millie, with COVID obviously being a pandemic and you having a health condition? Did you receive a letter from the government telling you to shield?
And yeah, so at the very beginning, yes, I was told to shield. I mean, I was like, when we got put into flats, we could contact them before. And honest, I told them pretty much right from the start, I am a shielder. This is, you know, what I've had to do these past however long it was at that point. And again, they were all just like so understanding, like, yep, do what you're comfortable with, that's fine. And then obviously when we got told not to go back in second semester, I was at home, shielding at home. And then
was it online learning from home?
Yeah, we were just doing it all. I mean, it was all online in first semester as well, but you could at least be with other kind of people in your flat. The second semester was all at home.
Did you find that now looking back at that time, was it difficult to adjust to get back to normal life? Because obviously for shielding and protecting yourself for so long,
I think.
how did you come out of that?
Also, just like as a general individual, I was maybe on the more cautious side initially coming out of the stages. But I think it was just like about building up, doing like one little thing each day and just slowly getting back into things compared to when you look back at it compared to where I am now. I don't think about it anymore. It's such a weird. I mean, I did get COVID a few weeks ago, which I won't lie was a bit grim. But I ended up getting the antiviral treatment. And again, that was something I was able to get done in Dundee. I did that and I recovered.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And obviously, you just have to keep on top of the jabs nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got one fixed later. I don't know if Katie, you've had anything.
I think it was about this time last year I had one, and I got it on the flu jab on the same day at the same time, and I ended up in bed for 4 days and couldn't move. It was all horrible.
I've got the flu and the COVID on my birthday.
Oh. But during that time as well, Millie, you did attend quite a lot of hangouts that CLDF were holding on Zoom, didn't you? So do you feel like you've benefited from that and made friends online, or how was it for you?
Definitely. I feel like because if it wasn't for the Zoom every week, so we're always constantly getting to
talk to one
speak
another,
to each other and catch up, and it was just a lot more.
It was quite an isolating time, wasn't it, back then? So to have something like that once a week,
and I think especially in the like depth of lockdown, when none of us really were leaving our house, we were all shielding, and I gave you a bit of something to look forward to.
Yeah, and find people that were doing, shielding like you were.
Doing the same as you, and just being able to support each other.
Yeah, because there was a time when shielders had to continue to stay in and others in society were allowed to try and get back to normal. And obviously that was quite challenges for those that still had to stay put and wait out until things were a bit more safe for them to get back to normal life.
I think for at least 4 months.
Yes.
So I think especially during that time, it was definitely
worthwhile and beneficial to connect.
Oh yeah.
And it's always a service that people can drop in and out of. Obviously, you know, at that time you found it really beneficial to join then, and now you're at uni and you are well away, studying, busy, aren't you? But CLDF is always there for you, as you know.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't have to be like COVID.
Yeah,
whatever you might have.
It could just be an odd question now and then.
Yeah,
the fact that you might just want to say hello. So So Millie, as you've mentioned, that having that support through CLDF was really beneficial during that time. What would you say to other young people who might be listening to this that feel like they might need a little bit of support or advice?
I would say reach out to CLDF, whatever it is. They're always there to help. CLDF also, other young people involved with Hive are happy to help as well. I would say whatever it is, don't be afraid to just get in contact. They will be there, and just take any opportunities that CLDF presents, like the residentials, these Hive drop-ins, just the fact that they're there.
It is like a little family, isn't it, Millie?
Yeah, once you're in, they don't let you go.
Yeah, that's it. And it can be quite nerve-wracking to join a Zoom call, can't it?
I think, especially when you feel maybe everybody sort of almost already knows each other. You know us, we know you guys as well. So I feel like it can be maybe a bit of a scary thing, but yeah, we're very friendly. We love to see new people.
That's it, new people always. It's something to talk about, isn't it? It's to get to know someone, isn't it? It allows you to meet other people online first, and then when opportunities come up, you can then see people face to face, can't you? And you do gain some real good friends from it, don't you? I mean, do you have little WhatsApp groups between you, don't you, Millie?
Yeah, we have different like groups and chats. And
then as you say, you log on at any point, don't you, and have a good catch up now. Thank you, Millie. It's been lovely having you on today's podcast, and you have shared an enormous amount of great top tips and advice, and it's lovely to hear your journey. So we can't thank you enough, and hopefully, you know, we'll have future podcasts with you as you progress from university. And who knows where you'll go. And we wish you all the luck, obviously. You're in third year.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much for today.
It has been
a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much, Millie. It's been really great to speak to you today and catch up and see how far you've come on your journey. And you've definitely got a long but positive and good road ahead of you coming out of uni, and hopefully you do get to do your travelling someday.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for having me. It's been nice we catch up, as you guys say, and I'm sure it will be.
There'll be future
but
ones.
many more.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Millie, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
For those that are listening in, it's lovely that you've joined us on CLDF Chatter. I am the Young People's Officer, so if you do need any support from listening to this podcast, or there's any concerns that you may have or advice that you might need, please do contact us on Hive, our online Facebook group chat, or you could email ypo@childliverdisease.org, or alternatively you can call us on 0121 212 3839, and we look forward to hearing from you.